Let's get into it, man. Man. I know we were talking behind the scenes. It's 6:30. It's time to start the show, man. Team No Sleep. What it do, Montel? Man, how you living, brother?
Man, blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings, man. I can't call it, man. God is good as always. So
I love it,
just
man.
ready to
Let
get the
me get
show
in your
on the
world.
road, man.
Let me get some
You
of
in my
that.
world, man.
Get some of
You
that
definitely in
karma.
my world, man. It's just, I just gotta call his name out, man, and be thankful for my blessings. I can't deny it.
That's true, brother. That's true. Listen, we here. We're gonna do it again. What's it? I had to look at the date. September 13th. Team No Sleep, social impact of sport. We're gonna get into some conversations. We stirred up a little bit of controversy and a little bit of dialogue with some YouTube shorts and some TikToks I sent out over the week. So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I invited some of those folks who engaged on our conversation about Oakland, about the dire straits and the dire situations happening in Oakland, and hopefully they come join us this week so we can have the dialogue because that's the only way we get better.
yes,
We're not just sitting here trying to sit on a high horse. We want to have some conversations, try to get things the right way and get better for everyone. So they were openly
yeah,
invited to the conversation. I would say that.
absolutely. And I think just to kind of recap, we were talking about, all the issues that are going along with Oakland, and then obviously the situation that affected the youth, right? That the shooting at the youth. And I made the accusation that it's toward gentrification, man. They stop policing those areas. They don't put they let those situations get ran down in order for gentrification to start to happen. And that gives them their reasoning to have it because of high crime. They want
Mm-hmm.
the business to come in. So now it's kind of like it just happens in those steps. And we've seen it all over. We've seen it so many times. We've seen it in Oak Park in Oakland. We've seen it in other
Yeah.
segment parts of Oakland. We've seen it happen in all these predominantly poor areas that used to be or considered urban areas. They let the crime get so bad, and then they drive those people. Then now they come in there, they want to clean it up, and then they price those people out because that's prime real estate for a lot of people for them to live there. I kind of understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand how the process works. And I, made my accusation. Those places for gentrification. And one of the comments was like, "Hey, white people are damned if they do, damned if they don't. They're damned if they move in, they're damned when they moved out, they get criticized." And the conversation is, unfortunately, predominantly white neighborhoods and middle class neighborhoods drive that index. They drive the pricing index. So yeah, you are damned if you do it, if you don't, if you want to put it that way. But those areas drive that index. So when there's high crime, people don't move in. When there's high crime or high situations where there's crime, it drives other people out. And I get it why they get out. But then I think there's a twisted plot behind it. Behind mayors and governments and behind closed doors, they allow now it's all of a sudden, hey, it's such a high crime. Then they go in there and they put a mass initiative to clean it all out.
Yeah.
With a high police presence and all that stuff to clean it all out. And now the price is driven down so long, they clean it all out. Now these big investors come in there and buy all the land up and redo it and put up high rises and put up different houses and all that stuff. So I mean, it's something that we've seen over and over again. I just pointed it out. Um, I open to the
You
agreement.
just
I,
started the
I agree with that
conversation.
statement though. What he said, I do agree with the statement he said,
Yeah.
but it's just what it is.
Yeah. I'll put a link out to it for folks who hadn't seen it. I'm not sure if as many of the community are on TikTok, but I also put it on YouTube as a short, as a clip from what we did last
Mhm.
week. And literally, I was telling Montel in 40 minutes. Well, no, it was in 4 hours. There were over 900 views to it with tons of comments, tons of engagement, tons of interaction, mostly positive. But then we had a couple of folks that were uh, speaking their piece as well, which is all good. So yeah,
Mhm.
like I say, I offered them to come on the show at any time or get into the audience and let's have that dialogue. So man, yeah, there it is. There it is. Shirley's in the building. Good to see you, our friend. Shirley P always coming like with like inside scoops every now and then too, right? She come through with a couple of stories and I'm be like, yeah, we own it. We own it. We appreciate her for keeping us keeping us right and keeping us wrong. She's in West LA tonight. Love it. All right, brother. Listen, we got some more topics to talk about that kind of are going to stir folks the wrong way or an interesting way. So let's go and get into it, man. Michigan State in and of itself. Let's just start there. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on in Michigan State. A lot
Hmm.
of stuff that's been going on in the past as well with the program and with the conference. Now, high visibility program, football program, the Michigan State football coach, Mr. Mel Tucker, was suspended for sexual harassment. Mel Tucker was suspended for being on phone call with a colleague and associate, making sexual harassment types of conversations and remarks, and then doing some things to himself. What's the word? Allegedly. I never used the word allegedly, but there, right? The man's touching himself on the phone allegedly while he was talking to the lady. And come on, folks, you can't do that. You can't do that. So the ladies obviously pressed charges. They've actually gone through and done some more investigation. Right now, Mel Tucker is not on the sideline. If this ends up being true, if this man, listen, if this man ends up going down for doing some things that he shouldn't have done, they're gonna throw all the books at him. All the books. Why? Because think back again, folks, from a sports perspective, intercollegiate perspective, Michigan State. Think about Larry Nassar. That's where that started from, right from the Olympics and the gymnastics and the training and all that. That man's in jail for over life. That man, I think, it was 40 to 175 years was his term that Larry Nassar got. So there's that. And then the gentleman we talked about a couple of weeks ago was it Coach Fitzgerald?
Hmm.
Goes
Correct.
same conference, right? Again, so a lot of negative publicity happening within the conference, within the school, and you just can't have these kinds of um, situations when you're dealing with kids, when you're dealing with women, when you're dealing with people in and of itself, when you're supposed to know better. Man, talk to me a little bit about what you think is going to happen with Coach.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call him Coach
If
anymore,
these,
right? But with Mel Tucker, I
yeah,
want to.
if they investigate and find out these allegations are true, unfortunately, Coach Tucker's going to lose his job. That's number one, and probably criminal charges may be brought up against him or not. It's unfortunate, especially with the Fitzgerald situation. There was a watchful eye already on Northwestern, who's in that
Yeah,
conference. Some pressure, and then then the Harbaugh situation. He's always got an eye on him. There's no misconduct except for recruiting misconduct on his behalf done. But that conference has just a watchful eye on it. And now to find out that this situation happened with, Michigan State and Coach Tucker, it's just, it's disheartening. Two, jobs like this is so hard to come by, especially for an African American coach.
yes,
They're
yeah,
really, this is a really, really hard job to come by for an African American coach. And then for this to happen, it's almost it's a double whammy, that's coming after him. So, allegedly, I mean, he claims he's innocent. Obviously, rightfully so, if he didn't do it. But obviously, they did some type of investigation to warrant his suspension at least for a week. I believe it's a week right now, and
correct,
it could be
correct.
extended based on whatever else they find. I'm anxious to see how this all plays out, right? And let's look on from both sides. If he's guilty, obviously we already know what's going to happen: lose his job and so on and so on. Probably be a civil suit. Probably no criminal, but probably a civil suit somewhere along the line.
Well, okay, so I,
Always.
I wonder about that, and that's why I've got
Yeah.
this particular piece of the story because again, she's the lady who made the allegations is advocate and rape survivor, right? So she's been kind of through a fire already with just past things that have happened, and I
Mhm.
just wonder, and Monday morning quarterback just asking questions. This could be a tough situation for them to just brush under the concrete or brush under the rug and just here's a couple $100,000 and to let it go away. I almost would think that she would be wanting to again make a case out of this, really make some noise about this particular situation. Should it come out that head coach Tucker is in the wrong here?
Well, we both know it just depends on how strong Michigan State feels about protecting Coach Tucker.
Ooh,
If they really want to put the money up and say, "Hey, we want to
yeah,
settle," and we want to brush it under the rug, that may be the case. Or and that's if he did something or didn't do anything. If they just want this to go away, they may give her some so-called hush money and say, "Hey, you know what? Drop the charges, drop your allegations, sign a confidentiality agreement, and here's some money for you just to go away." But that's if they want to protect Coach Tucker. If they don't want to protect Coach Tucker, the process is going to have to play itself out.
yeah,
And unfortunately, he's going to have to be in a situation where he has to clear his name. I just, like I said, it's really, really hard for an African American coach to be in get a job like this in the Big Ten be in the spotlight, be the number one competitor, number one rival to Jim Harbaugh, who's one of Mr. College Football's elite coaches. And Coach Tucker's been doing a really, really good job with his program. And now to have this thing happen, it's really a dark, black eye over the program.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can figure it out, man. I mean, he really emphatically claimed he's innocent. I mean, but the catch-22, just like you said, she's kind of been through I don't want to say a similar situation, but where it's not so favorable situation with Michigan State. So for her to come back for number two, man, Michigan State's my opinion, Michigan State's not gonna want. They're gonna want something. Something has to happen. There has to be some corrective action that's going to be done,
Yeah.
and hopefully it's not it's either going to be hush money on that part, so called, or it's going to be, hey, Tucker's going to have to prove himself innocent.
He's going to, yeah, that's definitely going to be on his shoulders to get that done. They got a Title IX attorney, as you see, I got highlighted there right now, who's kind of running point on the case right now. But then it always, like you said, comes back to dollars and cents. And the interesting thing about this is, should he comes back and Tucker's in the wrong, Michigan just gonna fire him. Michigan State gonna fire him, and they're not gonna pay the rest of that $95 million contract that he's got. Right.
Yes.
So now he better be telling the truth if he didn't do it, because he messing with his own money, and $95 million for a black man at a high caliber school like this, a very visible school like this. This is just not a good look. So bruh, what?
Well, I mean,
you better have all your receipts. You better have all your receipts.
Yeah, if he breaches his contract with these allegations, then obviously the fire is coming. That's going to come down the pipeline. I think the next pipeline he has to prepare himself for is for the civil suit, because as we know, if you get found, that it'll just look unfavorable if the school fired him. So in a civil suit, if there's no criminal charges brought up, it'll be a civil suit, and then from that civil suit, he'll have to figure that out. But I'll be the first one on record. If this happens and he's found guilty, or this continues the progress, and I haven't found guilty. If he has to continue, if this progress continues and Michigan State fires him, I don't know if Tucker will ever get a coaching job again in collegiate football. Right now, with the microscope the way it is, and the scrutiny that another school would get for hiring him if he is presumably guilty by just association or guilty by public opinion, I don't think any other school is going to want to touch or hire him and bring him on as another coach. So his career, let's be honest, let's be frank, his career possibly could be over with these allegations. And it's a shame. It's sad because we don't know what happened. We don't know the truth, And if he did it, unfortunately, he ruined his own career, right? If he did that, he ruined his own career. So it's ugly. I think people are like, oh, it's just college coach, sexual harassment, let's go, blah, blah, blah. This is on that Gruden level, right? This is on that Gruden level. 95 million, 100 million Gruden, 95 million Tucker. Unfavorable actions, what you did. Gruden's was racial. This is sexual. If you're found any way guilty by public opinion or by the court of law or by Michigan State, career is pretty much over at that point.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get a talking job on a sports network.
You're not Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I shouldn't be dropping names, but right again, you're not going to be Urban Meyer out there at your restaurant, club, wherever he was, and getting a lap dance when your wife's at home by somebody else, and then get another job on Fox. I just said it out loud. We never going to get.
But this is crazy though. This is crazy though. Urban Meyer's situation is not. Urban Meyer's though it was. I don't say it was warranted, but it was okay. It was mutual agreement. The girl that they was dancing.
It was different. Yeah. Complain. I mean, apples and oranges kind of thing. Yeah.
This young lady, or this lady is complaining that he was groping himself on camera and making sexual innuendos while they were in the Zoom. Yeah. One, I kind of find it hard to believe the Zoom wasn't recorded. That's especially it looks like a high-profile meeting.
Yeah,
you would think the Zoom was recorded at some point, especially if he was making allegations and if he's done this more than once. I don't know if this is like the first time he did it. They didn't mention if this happened over and over again, at least on this one instance. I'm surprised the Zoom wasn't recorded somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether the IT team can go back and retrieve it and do the recording. It's recorded somewhere. Let's be honest.
Everything listen, again, we record everything nowadays. So surely that's the answer to your question right there. Again, it was on a video conference. Apparently she heard him saying certain things, but didn't actually doesn't have the proof because don't have the recording of him doing other things during on the call. So we got to find out. We'll
Yeah.
find out.
So, and typically something like this, there's a history behind it, right? This ain't the first time. Most people that do this is, and like, hey, this is my first time. I'm gonna do this on camera, and it's kind of usually a history, like anything else. People have a history of that kind of behavior.
Yes.
So I would hate to, something comes up on, Coach Tucker. Unfortunately, this is what's going to happen. You just can't do that anymore. Unfortunately, this is just a warning to everybody. You cannot do those things
Can't do
anymore.
it.
You
I'll
cannot.
tell you what.
You
October
can't.
5th is when the trial, or when they're gonna go into court with their findings, and we gonna find out. We're gonna have that on our next session. Team No Sleep for sure. That's just gonna be one of the stories we follow, because this can be incredibly, dominoes could start falling, and
Yeah.
it could be bad for everyone. It could be bad for him, obviously. It could be bad for her as well. Just depending on what comes out. I mean, you put that laundry out there, you just don't
Well,
know what's gonna happen. So we'll
you
see,
al-
man.
you al- you also got to consider, does Michigan State want to get out of that $95 million contract? I don't put. I mean, there's a whole lot of going on in this situation. People kind of, I know it doesn't get the front page of
Yeah.
ESPN. It kind of gets a small caption, but there's a lot of download. What if Michigan State doesn't want to pay the 95 million? What if they want to be like, hey, we just want to cut ties, bad press for everybody.
Yeah.
Now Tucker has to go back in and fight us back and try to fight for his job back. And you don't want to work for somewhere where you're not wanted. So now you got to go into this whole battle about paying the. It's gonna be it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on from this situation, and I think it's just bigger than the sexual harassment.
Yeah,
That's
that's a good
important.
point, right? The whole business aspect
That's
of it as
stemming
well.
it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, that's
Michigan
stemming
State
it.
just want
Don't
to
get me
cut
wrong.
ties.
Yeah, that's stemming it, and that gives them a reason now. All of a sudden, that gives them a reason to get out, because typically, hypothetically, and I'm not saying this has ever happened. Hypothetically, let's put that on somebody a coach. If that was another coach in a high profile program that was winning, um, a different coach, and he happened to be, you know, I don't want to mention his name because it just sounds bad, but just another high profile coach. What if this happened and they're winning? Would the school be reluctant to take his side, or would they be willing to let this all out? Because I've known, not that I've known, but I'm sure situations that happen like this and schools covered up quick. They come to they come to the rescue. Someone said Penn State earlier. You come to the rescue of the coach and you wipe it under the rug. We've seen it before. It happens over and over again. When they don't want to be with that coach, or they don't want to have anything to do with that coach, allegations come out to the forefront for at least public opinion to give their opinion on there, and you could be the innocent or guilty by public opinion. That gives universities a reason to get out. So that
Yeah,
makes me wonder right there, does Michigan State really want an opportunity just to get out of this contract and get from underneath Coach Tucker? Um, and these allegations gave him the right boom. That gave him the right ammo to put it out there. Let's go with it. Let's see how this plays itself out. If it does play itself out unfavorable, we have a reason to cut ties with it right away, ASAP. And 95 million is a lot of money. That's a lot of money to
that's
be.
that's that's grown folks'
That's a,
money right there,
that's a
right?
lot of money to be holding over a university's head, especially if they want change. So you don't want to buy, and the thing is, you don't want to buy the person out, right? You don't want
Yeah,
to buy him out because it's too much money. So what you do, what situations happen, are these allegations come up, and now it's like, hey, this came up. You gave us bad press. Yeah, you weren't found guilty, but you're guilty by public opinion. It gives us a ballot for the program. We need to figure out a way to sever ties with you. So let's take pennies on the dollar to give it to you to buy you out of your contract because you're not paid for the full thing because you're no longer going to be the head coach here. So I think all those negotiations are going on.
yeah,
All of them.
yeah.
It's not just
If
one.
we could be the fly in the room with all that going on, and just interject as we want, we gonna sit here Monday morning quarterback. But
Yeah,
I like the fact that you said, right, the Foxes, the ESPNs, everybody else, they just brushing this, right? I mean, this really isn't top of the line news, unfortunately for them. They're talking about other things, which we'll get into as well later on tonight. But this is an important conversation, one for the culture, one for the allegation, one for what could happen and how everyone could be affected. And that's the conversation that's missing from a lot of the mainstream media, unfortunately. So
yeah.
that's why y'all tune in to Team No Sleep. Come on, tell somebody. Hey,
Nah,
look,
yeah,
Dan
yeah.
is in the
Please
building.
tell
Tell
somebody
somebody
to
to
tune
come
in.
join
I
us,
just
brother.
think,
Come on, man. You got some
yeah,
folks out there.
I just think you got to look at the whole perspective. Like
Yeah.
you just can't look at what's on the surface because the media is only going to present to you what they want to present to you,
Yeah.
right? No one's going to sit there, hey, let's investigate Michigan State. What are they doing about this or how are they approaching the situation? They're not saying that. They're still say, hey, the allegations are out here. He has a lawyer. And like that article said, it's just really very, very vanilla and very generic. But I think we got to peel that onion back a little bit and say, okay, how's everybody approaching this? Because time and time again, if the university really wants that person or they really want to keep that person as a coach, they will come to that defense.
Yeah.
They would be right. They would be in the forefront of that defense. This one they're not. And we've seen it over again. We've seen it with the guy at West Virginia, the basketball coach, when he was drunk driving and made the racial comment. Hey, all right, we're done with you. We don't want nothing to do with you. You
yeah,
better figure it out
yeah,
because
we
we
had
cutting
changed the
ties.
locks on the front door for sure with you. So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll see.
And, and we've seen it with other organizations. They will cover it up. But this one, like I said, they put it out there. They put out, and don't get me wrong. I'm not minimizing the crime. I mean, minimizing the sexual harassment because that is very important. If he did do it, then unfortunately he brought this on himself. I'm a 100% agreement. But what I'm saying is, typically, if a school wants to keep you, even if he put it on himself, they will come to the forefront. Let's look at the Raiders in the situation with Gruden. The Raiders were trying to jump in front of it and trying to come. There just was so much evidence they had to get rid of him. The owner didn't want to get rid of him. You know, it was just a situation where they had to because it was he was guilty by public opinion. I think this is the same scenario. He's going to be guilty by public opinion if he's not criminal, and then now they're going to figure out a way to get him out of
My goodness. There you go, folks. We dropping gems on you. Shirley said that's why she tunes in. Team No Sleep. Tell somebody. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm over here marketing. We dealing with this man's fate.
there.
All right, let's get to another conversation. That was real good discussion. That was a good social impact way to start too, because I think folks when they maybe even saw the title didn't think that we go kind of in those different layers of it to make people do the old Arsenio Hall things that make you go right think about some different stuff. But this story coming up, this is trifling right here. This trifling right here. So Buffalo Bills, shouts out to the Buffalo Bills. Saw DeMar Hamlin on the sideline at the game. Hopefully the young man gets into play. But I don't know if the owner for the Buffalo Bills cared. I'm not even gonna say that. Here's the story. I'm just gonna stick to the script. Bills owner Terry Pegula made racist comments, lawsuit alleges. I'll send a link to you guys for this as well. Pegula has been reported to have been saying something to the effect that if the black players don't like the way the team is run, don't like the conditions, they can, quote, go back to Africa. I'm just gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let that marinate on the stove right there just for a minute. And this was all stemming back from an investigation back in 2020 during Black Lives Matter. There was some conversation. Obviously, there was a lot of social impacting things and social initiatives that were happening. So that's where that stemmed from, that conversation. And the conversation was also with our friend Jerry Jones. Y'all know Jerry. Again, I don't want to say a whole lot. I don't want nobody coming after me. I don't want the FBI because you know when we get to talk about folks. But Jerry Jones, he may have some sheets at his house. Okay, I said it. Jerry Jones has said some things in his past as well. Again, I don't want to allocate, but I mean these cats, when you billionaires multiple times over, when you own teams and you own players in 2023, you got a different type of perspective. That's really why we got to get some minority representation, not just black. We just got to get some other representation in these ownerships of these entertainment, celebrity, and sports leagues. This allegation that we're talking about, and then I'm gonna let you talk, man. Terry Pegula, back in 2020, during the Black Lives Matter social initiatives, made the statement during an interview saying, "Look, if the black folks, the black players don't like it, if they don't like the team, they don't like the system, they don't like the NFL, they don't like the way I own and run this organization, they can quote unquote go back to Africa." Talk to me, man.
Yeah, and supposedly Jerry Jones' quote was, "If they don't like it, they need to get ownership. They don't like the way this black needs to get their own ownership." Yeah.
That's what
And
he
that's
said.
funny he said that.
That's
But
what he said.
let's go with Jerry Jones' quote. It's funny you say that, but you guys are in control of who buys a team. You know, granted, Magic Johnson, his team just got just got the Commanders, and they just got some African American in the ownerships, majority and minority owners. But it's funny because you control the narrative of who gets in and who gets out. The owners have to vote who they want to let in and buy a team and who they let out. So it's funny he kind of says that when he knows he controls the narrative of who gets in and who gets out. Obviously with the Broncos, they had billionaires that was trying to buy the team. The black billionaire, richest man in America, and they didn't let him in. The richest African American man in America, they didn't let him in. So
Yes.
it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny he said that comment, but to me, disheartening, right? Very disheartening comment. And I would respect the owner more so if he owned up to it than him saying than him trying to deny the allegations. He didn't say it, or I don't remember saying that. If I did say that, I apologize. It was in the heat of the moment. He could say anything to apologize and own it if he did say it. But this didn't come out of nowhere. And the fact of the matter, they're investigating it 2 years later and bringing this story up. That means there's some type of substance there. There's something that's there.
And okay, so let me say this before I forget, because I'm an old man and I forget things. That's why I got to keep interrupting you, brother. This NFL, this was on a Zoom call. That's recorded.
Yes.
You know there's receipts. There's copies and there's backup copies. There's all that. Goodell and all his folks got this somewhere in their office, so it's gonna come out.
Yep.
You can't you can say I didn't say it, but we gonna get these transcripts. Okay, there we go.
If he said it, so if he said it, he did say it. Does he get the same punishment? Just like we were just talking about John Gruden. No. Does it get the same punishment as the owner of the Washington Commanders had? Does it get the same punishment as Sterling got when he made racial comments? Basically forced to sell your team? Are you forced to get out of this organization? I can tell you right now, Jerry Jones ain't going nowhere. I don't care what he
that's what I was saying. Jerry Jones, he's more powerful than that. Come on, we know who the commissioner works for, and Jerry Jones ain't going nowhere.
So I saw the interview on ESPN today when Roger Goodell was talking about they're going to get to the bottom of this and they want a cohesive working place, work environment, and all that. And that's what you're supposed to politically say. You're absolutely right. But the problem is, you work for them. They control the narrative. Roger Goodell does not control the narrative of this. They control the narrative. And they're telling whatever lawyers and whatever, hey, put some type of spin on it so this can go away. Bottom line. Because the only way, if somebody feels really that bad about the situation, there has to be a lawsuit and it has to be the players against the owners. And I'm sorry, those players aren't going to rock that boat. There's just too much money involved.
Yes.
It's life-changing money for those players involved, so they're not going to rock the boat. People always say, well, why don't they just protest or why don't they just stop play? That's easier said than done. But for those 300 players that are playing and those majority African Americans or minorities that are there, that's so much money involved that they're not going to, stop the man that's paying them, even if they do make a few racist comments here and there. They're just not going to do it. I'm sorry.
To put that into perspective, think about folks and football fans. If you watch the game Monday night, if you watch the Jets game, who they play? Jets and the Giants. No.
Just play the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. Again, I'm falling apart. The Jets and the Bills. The dude, Whitefall, 3 interceptions in that game. All right. He had a clause in his contract that says throughout this whole season, if he gets 3 interceptions, he gets a bonus. Again, life-changing money. Mm-hmm. I forgot the number, $495,000, something really nice, something to that effect. He cashed that in night one. So again, life-changing money. And if somebody says something, looks at me wrong, looks at me bad, Whitefall be like, hey man, I just made 3 interceptions and I just made $500,000 for going out there and putting in some real good work. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna let a lot of things slide. I'm not saying I'm gonna be looking the other way, but again, I'm just put me in, coach. Let me do what I got to do, and y'all worry about that other stuff. So I mean, it's a whole different kind of conversation when you're dealing with grown folks with money like this.
Yeah. I mean, people could be on their moral high horse and be like, "Oh, I would leave, or I would protest, or I would do all that," but that's really hard to do and say when you're in the midst of that and that kind of money's being involved.
Yeah,
for $500,000, if you call me something, I'll let it slide. I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm gonna let it slide, man. I'm not gonna be. I don't. And you can say, well, you just giving it to the oppressor or all that. All that stuff you want to get into that conversation with, and you can have that conversation if you got money like that. But when you do not have money like that and it's coming in like that, and that oppressor's paying you like it is, it's different. It ain't modern day slavery no more. I'm sorry, they're paying you for what you do.
That's
He
true.
made $500,000 on one thing, on
That's
one
true.
game. That's a bonus that he got. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let a little bit slide. I'm gonna let a little bit of the condescending, the comments slide. Now, if it goes too far and I got my money stacked up and I
No.
know I don't need you anymore, then I'm gonna say something. And then I might get into the argument with you by all that. But until that happens, I'm not. I'm a kind of all right, cool. Maybe he doesn't like, but I'm gonna be cool. Because it's funny to me. Let's just take an example. Keyshawn Johnson said he was in the
Johnson.
situation when he heard Gruden make rude comments, but he didn't say nothing back then. You know why? Because Gruden and them are cutting him a paycheck. He didn't express. He might express something internally, but he didn't say nothing where it came out public. He said nothing at all because they're cutting him a paycheck. Now, soon as ESPN is cutting a paycheck and they're not. Okay, I can tell the whole beans because that's the way things go. So
Mm-hmm.
I think people got it. I mean, you got to put yourself in those shoes in those situations, and you got to tell me, would you let some situations slide if somebody's paying you $250K?
Yeah.
And people say they won't, but until that paycheck kick in, they might, hold on, maybe I need to be quiet for a quick second. I'll pretend like I didn't hear it, right? I didn't pretend like
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. And
Yeah.
this happened in 2020. So this is and you also got, I always think you got to put things in content, right? This is basically the height of racial division in America. Black Lives Matter, conservative white folks is preaching their part, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
police defunding police. This is the height of all that. I'm not excusing his comments at all, but you better take into perspective exactly when these comments came and when they happened.
True.
Right?
True.
They're getting pressure from Black Lives Matter. They get pressure from the Colin Kaepernick situation. They still want to hold on to ownership. Daniel Snyder is doing his BS backing in, going back and forth about selling this team and all that. So just because we're looking on the outside in doesn't mean they don't have frustration situations either.
Come on.
Right?
Come on.
So was his comments out of line? They were. And I wish he would just own up to it. Hey, and explain that. Hey, this is the height of all these things going on. I was frustrated as an owner. People talk about complaining. I said if they don't like it, they can go back to Africa. It was a bad comment on my part.
Yeah.
I
Bad.
shouldn't have said it.
Bad.
But at that moment, that's how I felt because I'm getting pressure from everybody in telling me how to run my business. Okay. We as African American people say, oh yeah, he was wrong. But you know what? Okay, at least you manned up and owned up to it, and I can see kind of the perspective where you're coming from.
Yeah, because we're a very forgiving
don't let it happen
society.
again.
We are, especially the United States, are a very forgiving
Yes.
society. If you just go ahead and say, you know what, man, yeah, my bad, right? I
Yes.
shouldn't have said that. I should have done that. Take them licks, take them hits, whatever. I think of Tiger. Well, Tiger didn't have a choice, but certain types of other situations is even Michael Vick. I know folks are still real mad about Michael Vick and them dogs, but listen, Michael's
Yeah.
like, man, listen, I shouldn't have done it. I know it was wrong. Let me go out here and build some shelters and all that. Now Michael Vick, right? He back on the come up. I know they
Yeah.
still got love for him just about every place that he goes, but that was
Yeah.
pretty rough
But
of a time for him as well.
I see Jerry Jones' comments more damaging than the owner of the Bills was. Jerry Jones is over and over. We've seen incidents where it seems like he has a racist bone in his body.
I said it. I know I'm gonna get some flack, but yeah, like I said, Jerry Jones got sheets in his closet.
Yeah, I mean, we just seen incidents over and over again from when he was young. With the picture when he was with the young African lady going to school, and he seems like he's berating her, and then all the way up to now that he has some racial bones in his body, and he talks that racist stuff sometimes, or he always lets it slip. But let's not be fooled. Jerry Jones is the power backing of the NFL.
True.
He is the guy.
True.
So he controls a lot of the narrative of what goes on. So they're going to let that stuff slide. It doesn't matter. We as a public opinion, as long as the consumers keep buying it, he don't care. And the people that are involved in it is going to let it slide. No one in the staff is going to quit because they're getting paid top dollar. No one in this coaching staff is going to quit. No one in the front office is African American is going to quit because of his comments because they're getting fully compensated to unfortunately being in that situation. Whether you believe it's right or wrong or indifferent, that's reality. That's how it is. I don't want to work for a racist. I wouldn't want to work for a racist boss. But if I'm in a situation and I'm working there and the racing boss is paying me $250,000 a year, long as it ain't every day and he slips here and there, you're willing to look the other way. You are. That's human. That's human.
Yeah.
You're willing to look the other way.
And I almost wonder if we're more accepting of the NFL because of the dollars and cents that are happening right there. Because I even recall me myself during the Kaepernick situation, where I said, "Man, listen, I'm not even watching this anymore. I'm through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm through with NFL. I'm not going to watch this anymore because they did him wrong for what he was attempting to do." But here I am again, and probably right the year afterwards, I was right back in it. I took a little hiatus, but came back.
Yeah.
It is the greatest show. It is high entertainment. It is gladiators out there doing it. It's that grown folks money. But again, if the players made some amends, who am I to take my little $100 from YouTube TV and not watch NFL Network? Right? So
Yeah.
it's a
I
weird
mean,
situation to be in.
it's easy to point the finger outside looking in, right? It's so
Mm-hmm.
easy to point
Yeah.
the finger. So it's so easy to do that. But when you're in it, I'm sure as a player or as a person that's a personnel or somebody that's getting a check from the NFL, it's very hard to get out and voice your opinion like that, especially when you know the ramifications. Maybe you might be fired, or you may not get that check anymore, or you may be ostracized like Colin Kaepernick was
Yeah.
from the entire league. And I'm not saying what he didn't. I don't want to get in that situation. We know what they did was wrong, and they knew they were wrong when they did that situation. But the bottom line, making these slick comments and them doing it, yeah, it's great to bring it to the forefront. Okay, now they got a watchful eye on them. They got an evil eye on them. It's not going to stop people from watching football, and it's damn sure not going to stop people from playing football. That's the reality of the whole thing. Now, I hope the NFL finds a situation where they can find them, find both of them, enough money, and maybe give it to some communities or give it to some programs. But we know that may not happen. That's probably not going to happen because again, Roger Goodell works for them. They don't work for him. He works for them.
That's
So
a good
whatever
man. That's a
narrative
good
he wants them to
situation to be
drive,
in when your boss worked for you.
yeah,
Man.
exactly. So
Yeah.
the problem is whatever narrative he wants them to drive, they're going to drive it. Now, does this blow up so much where the media gets a copy of that conference and him actually saying it and spewing those words, and we see it in the meeting, and we see it on TV? Okay, they'll be guilty by public opinion, but again, as far as the infrastructure, it's not going to change. It's the same.
All
They'll
right.
take their
So right
lips,
there, with that comment right there, let me bring in this comment that came in. Shouts out to Walter Strong. He says, however, there are those who push this cancel culture agenda who will not let this slide by the owner in New York. So again, if we get these tapes, if we get video, if we get audio, we know it's that voice. We see the lips moving. Are the folks outside going to push and protest and solicit for this person being removed from ownership? Or are the other 31 owners going to band together and say, it's time for you to go, man?
Well, the bottom line is ticket sales going to drop.
Okay.
We can push the narrative we want.
So that's where you hit it right there. That's where you hit it right there, right? With the money situation.
If
Gates,
ticket
sales,
drop,
merchandise, things of that nature. I hear you. Okay.
Who can? Let's be frank. The Buffalo Bills Stadium is sold out for 8 games. They're sold out. So if tickets don't stop selling and people still going to the game and people aren't asking for refunds, I could care less what cancel culture says. Have your opinion, because typically in cancel culture, if you can ride it out, it goes away. People start supporting it again. People start doing it again and whatnot. Now, if ticket sales go down and they see ticket sales go down in other stadiums or where they're playing it and when they're playing against opponents and all that stuff, then that might be open for conversation. But last time I checked, this is not the first time Jerry Jones has been in a racial situation or had racial comments, and the Dallas Stadium still sells out. They're still number 1 team in America. They still sell the most merchandise. They still get a deal with Pepsi. They still got to deal with whoever else they're going to get. It doesn't stop, unfortunately.
And they actually won their first game at a ridiculous rate, 40-0. We can talk about that too. But you're right. When you're winning, when you got butts in seats, when you're doing all those economic things, when you're in the black instead of in the red, we will look the other way. We just will. And here nor there, good or bad, but that's a good point that you make right there.
Let us be honest with everybody on here. I'm quite sure owners of 500 Fortune companies have some people that say a lot of racial comments up at the top that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens, and I'm sure a lot of it doesn't go reported.
True.
I'm
That's
sure
true.
there may be a black senior manager or African American senior manager somewhere or a diversity manager, and someone says something, but she's getting that person's getting paid $300,000 a year. I don't know if I'm gonna bring that up because the CEO said it.
You gonna sweep that under the rug and just take that out when you get home, right? Yeah,
But and you gonna have that conversation with your significant other, but like, can you
yeah,
believe this person said such and such, such and such?
yeah,
Oh, maybe you should report it now. No, hold on.
yeah,
Hold on. I ain't messing up my bag because you said
yeah.
that or she said that. I'm not gonna mess up my bag. I just know who I'm working with, right? I keep that watchful eye in there.
It's a battle
But
versus the war, right? Which
yeah,
one are you gonna go out there and put yourself in? You gonna fight this battle, or you gonna try to win the war? That's a good. My God,
I mean, you got to look at this. It's the same scenario. That just happens to be the company is football, NFL, and the company's not one of these Fortune 500 companies.
they got a lot to
That's the
say.
only
They got
difference.
a lot to say. Gretchen's in the building. Appreciate you, my friend, for joining us. Welcome back. Listen, we always live. You can come join anytime. And Walter Strong, listen, boy, you know the keys to the front door. Come on in if you want to. Put a link to your show because Walter Strong just started a whole show talking about NBA analysis and who's the greatest point guard, and is LeBron. He got a dope show running. I think he's pivoted from his content creation. So Walter, put your channel in the comments, man, because we want to make sure folks come check you out as well. Uh, I love this right here by Shirley said, should I make another shirt? Listen, I was redoing the merch last night. Y'all see it? Y'all see it underneath? I'm trying to look at the live stream. Y'all see some new designs out there. Oh my God! I even lowered the prices on some things. What is it? It's Christmas in September.
There we go.
Yeah, lowered the prices on something. Did you? Okay, before we go to the next story, did you get the? You don't have to say it, but did you get those drinks? The other
Oh
drinks?
yes, yes,
Did they
I've
already
tried them.
did they already show
Absolutely.
up?
Yes, yes. Did
Did you
yours?
drink them? Yeah, did you drink
Yes.
them? You want to do it?
I've only drank the blueberry. I haven't tried the mango and the
Okay, I'm
other
gonna
ones. I
say
only
we
drank
can do a
the
drop
blueberry.
right quick. So shout out. We know we got some more sponsors that are reaching out to Team No Sleep, and it's not an alcoholic drink, y'all. This is a nootropic. It's keep the mind right, and I obviously need that. But I wasn't expecting it to taste the way it tasted.
Yes,
I wasn't
it's
ready
very.
for
It
this.
actually is very good.
You know
It's
what I'm
good.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, shouts out to the team. I can't think of them off the top of my head, so I'm not gonna mention the name until I put them in the ticker next week. But yeah, we out here doing things. We out
Yeah,
here
we're gonna get them
doing
a full
things.
blow up next. We'll give them a full blow up next week
Yeah.
for sure.
I got two of them in the refrigerator right now. My daughter's got her name written on them, so I can't even drink them. But I don't know. I'm like, okay, let me log in. Let me get focused. Pacman Jones, y'all know him. He's not playing anymore, but Pacman Jones is in the news again, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I don't know where he was going, but he used to play for he used to play for Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yep.
Adam Pacman Jones got arrested the other day, early in the morning on Monday, and that's significant that I say early in the morning. The premise of this story is the man bought him 2 seats on the flight. He was headed out to, I don't know where he was headed to. Bought him 2 seats. He wanted to have room to stretch out. He had all his stuff. He wanted to charge his gear, his devices with him. Apparently, the stewardess, whomever didn't realize that, didn't recognize that. They got into a little discussion. And listen, Adam Jones, look, he can get loud. He can get loud. He can get excited. He can get very, very, very anxious. He was getting agitated again, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. This is my seats. I bought these seats. You ain't gonna tell me nothing. Woo, woo, woo. Again, I'll put the link to the whole story here. Needless to say, pilot kicked him off the flight before they even took off. Got arrested. Coming out of the detention facility after he was booked into jail. He's telling the local news station, look, here's the story. This is what I did. This is what I didn't do. They think that I made terrorist threats to him. They said that I was drunk. And Pacman is saying, look, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Who drunk at 6 o'clock in the morning? How am I going to be on the plane, going to catch a plane and be drunk at 6 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. I'm not going to play it, but Y'all can listen to it again. I'll send you the link as well. I don't think he was drunk, but I don't know. I just wish that he would find some good luck, because every time I see Adam Jones in the news, there's some bad luck following him. What's your thoughts on this, man?
I think he should sue the airlines.
You think
I
he
mean,
should?
he has receipts. He has the receipts. He bought 2 seats. He did what he was supposed to do, and the person that was a steward or a stewardess obviously disagreed with him. Told him whatever, and he's like, "Hold on, I'll pay for these seats. I did what I was supposed to do. How are you going to tell me to, either get up or move my stuff or whatever when I've already paid for the 2 seats?" So obviously, there's a situation where I think the steward, in this case, the stewardess or stewarder is wrong, right? He paid for a seat, paid for that space. And I don't know what the argument was about, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure what they were saying. I mean, they said he was being belligerent, but I think he was being belligerent, and they think he was drunk after he started arguing with them,
Yeah.
because you're telling him that he can't do what he wants to do with the 2 seats that he has.
You're not gonna tell a grown, come on, not I'm gonna say the grown man, but you're just not gonna tell somebody, a grown adult, that you look drunk at
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning. I done paid for these seats. I got this money, and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong in what I've already done. So yeah, we gonna get excited, and we
Yeah.
gonna get loud. That's what we do. And Pacman Jones, big dude. I don't want to be
Well,
in the midst of, if he get to throwing them hands, and he didn't do any of that, right? He didn't do anything. But I'm just saying, it's just a bad look, bad situation for him, man. It's too bad.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with arguing your case? And I don't think, I think you get louder as the escalation goes, right? As it goes up, as this person keeps telling you what you don't have, and you're trying to convince them, hey, I've already paid for these tickets. I did this. I've done these things. Why are you telling me I can't have this extra seat when I've already paid for it? To me, I'm saying, for me, it sounds like profiling. I'm gonna be honest with you. You profiled this man. He was sitting by himself. He was doing whatever, and some steward or stewardess thought they had the initiative to go over there and tell him how they felt about the situation, and he's disagreeing with them. Now, him being loud and all that stuff, you can't control that. But you can't control who's listening and who's not listening.
True.
I think right now, and I do believe right now, planes are at a zero tolerance, right? They're at a
Yes.
zero tolerance rate where they're not going to take any of that. But also, you gotta,
And
when
this
you're
was
wrong, you're
Monday,
wrong.
right? So again,
Yeah.
and this was Monday. So Monday, September 11th, right? So again, 20 years removed still, but come on, that's still in everyone's mind, and you can't act a
That's in
fool.
everyone's mind.
You can't act a
Everyone's
fool on that
on
day.
high
Yeah,
alert.
yeah,
Yeah, everybody's on high alert. There is zero tolerance with the airlines. And in their world, they feel they're right no matter what, right?
yes.
In their world, they feel they're right no matter what. But he has receipts. I paid for this. I've done this already. I'm not sure why you messing with me.
Why you
So why
trifling with
you
me?
yeah, why you singling me out about some situation because I have an empty seat next to me? I paid for the empty seat. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want anyone to sit here. I'm sorry. I don't want nobody to sit. I have every right to have no one sit here because I paid for it, regardless of the situation going on the plane. Unless we can't take off because of it,
Yeah.
then you need to accommodate me, right? That's the part. I don't know how far the discussion went, but I'm just saying it's funny that the airline stewardess and all that can make these accusations that he's drunk and he's all this and this and that. When he has the receipts and said, I did everything right. I done everything I was supposed to do in order to ensure myself to have these 2 seats and to be able to charge my devices and to be able to have the room to stretch out and so on and so on. And since you have me arrested, and now you got me, having to bail myself out. Now you got me guilty by public opinion, whether I'm right or
Yes.
wrong. I
Yes.
think he has the right to sue. He has the right to say nah. Just
Was
like
it
just like
defamation? Yeah,
Michael Irvin
defamation
did
of
with,
character.
with,
Yeah.
with Hilton. Just like Michael Irvin did with the Hilton. You're not just gonna sit here and just blame me for anything and say I did on something when I didn't really do it. Now, did I get mad after the fact? Yeah, I got
Yes.
pissed off after the fact because you're accusing me of doing something I didn't do, or are you telling me I'm not complying when I did comply when I bought an extra seat for myself? So we're arguing about compliance. I did my part, and you didn't do your homework on your part, and now you're accusing me of something. So, and then the accusal comes to you kicking me off the plane, and I'm getting publicly scrutinized.
Right.
I think it's
I'm
more for him to
embarrassed.
sue.
Right. You're kicking me off the plane. I'm embarrassed and all that, going through all that. And I want to find out what kind of flight was it? Was it private charter? Was it Southwest, United, whatever the case may be? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't go into all that. But
And the fact wherever he was going, he probably missed out on business, right? I'm pretty
yes.
sure he's flying Monday morning that early to get somewhere where he has some business to take care of. whether he's going on some leisure or not. But I'm pretty sure he has either a public appearance, an interview, something like that, someone of his stature. So now that's been gone too. So now I got public scrutiny. I missed out on some business and some money. I have my receipts, and now I got to go through this whole ordeal. I think he has every right and every grounds to sue. He
Give him
does.
his
He has
money.
every right to sue and say,
Give him his
"Hey,
money. Give him an apology. Give him all that. If it turns out
yeah."
to be that way, I mean, making terrorist threat allegations, being unruly. Okay, yeah. Listen,
It's funny, man. It's funny in certain worlds when you disagree. It's always being unruly and terrorist threats.
I'll
It
tell you.
is
So I'll
because I
tell
don't.
you. I'll tell you a story right now. And my dad's on the line right now, and I know exactly what he's thinking. So many years ago, before 9/11, me and my dad were on our way to Vegas out of Sacramento. It was one of the little hoppers, little United hoppers
Yep.
from here to there. We bought the tickets, got to the counter. They said, "Oh, the flight is full. We can't accommodate you, so we're gonna have to push you to a whole nother flight." Come on, I don't know, 21, 24 years, whatever the case would be. I acted a fool. I
Mm-hmm.
I I started moving furniture up in the Sacramento airport. Right, again, belligerent. I knew I was in the right for the fact I had the tickets, I had the seats, we had our stuff. It was already late at night. We trying to get in, so I've been in this situation. I
Mm-hmm.
surprised I didn't get arrested. My dad was looking at me. He's like, "Man, we finna either go to put these hands on somebody or we going to jail or something's gonna happen." So because I've done it, so I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly that part right there. But again, now fast forward 2023 after 9/11, again, you can't do that
Yeah.
on that day. Act up
No.
when everyone's
He-
watching, and you, Pacman Jones, big dude, you an intimidating looking character, man. So I mean, it's
well, I mean, just because of all that don't mean you're wrong, right? Doesn't
that's
mean
where I
you're
was
wrong.
gonna. That's the last part I was gonna say. Yeah.
Just because you do all that doesn't mean you're wrong. Just because he was being what you deem as being aggressive and
Yep.
disagreeing does not mean you're wrong. So in this case, this is a case of right or wrong. This
Yes.
isn't a case of your behavior
Yep.
or you being that. This is a case of right or wrong. His behavior already got him the actions taken care of. You got kicked off the plane. So by your behavior, you got kicked off the plane. But now we're going to a situation where who's right or wrong? Who's right or wrong? Right now, from what we've heard, he's right. I
Mm-hmm.
bought 2 tickets. I have the right to sit here. I have the right not to put nobody here. I have the right to charge my stuff. I got all the rights in the world because I paid for those tickets to be there. Now, this is similar to me to like Michael Irvin's situation. It was about right or wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't say that to her. I didn't say anything bad to her. How you gonna tell me I did all these things or I was acting wrong because I didn't act in the behavior that you wanted me to act in? I didn't pay no attention to her, so she
Yeah.
got pissed off.
Right.
Period.
Right. And we got the video to prove it. Right.
Yeah,
So
I didn't pay attention to her, so she gets all pissed off. So she makes all these allegations like I was being all these different things, and then he rightfully so. I'm gonna sue you for 100 million, and they settled out of court. So I
Michael
think
got his
Pac-Man
money.
Jones has the same situation. You can't treat me like that when I have all my receipts and I was right. I didn't do anything.
You just cannot treat people that way. Michael Irvin got his money and he got his job back.
Yes.
Well, he
So
never
now
lost
you're
his
gonna
job,
tell
but
me that
he back on live.
he
So
back
yeah.
on TV. So
Yeah.
you're gonna tell me now that Pac-Man Jones is wrong. Now I give you right. Like I said, today's climate you can't be that because when you're on these planes, it's zero tolerance. It's very zero tolerance, and everybody's on edge. And I can only imagine on a 9/11 day how much edge they're really on at that
Man,
point.
read the
But
room, brother. You may be
yeah,
right, but come on, Adam,
yeah,
just
you
read the
got to read.
room,
Yeah,
brother.
now, is he guilty of that? Probably so. He's
Yeah.
probably guilty of that. He's probably guilty of getting loud, and they're already in the state of mind where hey, we ain't taking nothing today. And that kind of led to a situation. But again, like I said, the stewardess or stewardess should have did their homework. Like, well, he paid for both these seats. He should have the right to do what he needs to do, or we need to compensate him back, or whatever we need to do. I think you need to work with people. I honestly do, and
Yeah.
I don't think it always has to be an argument or something like that. And I think also we already know you can read someone's body language and how they speak to you, right?
True.
He's a grown man. If you speaking to him down, or you speaking to him in an authoritative way, or conflict, a way of conflict,
Yes.
in that conflicted voice, then of course he's just going to be defensive at that point.
That's what we're gonna
And
do.
then,
That's just what we're gonna
and
do.
then it seems to me that they have already had some preconceived notions of him, and vice versa, right? They're saying, "Oh, look at this dude. He's just taking up his space. He's not sharing his seat. And I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know what the people think. I'm just
Yeah.
saying what I'm perceiving they might think. They have all this stuff, and then this person's gonna try to be the authority and like, hey, you need to put this away or do X, Y, Z or blah 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 blah. And he's like, oh no, that's not happening today. You're not gonna
Not
tell me.
today.
Not at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired too. I'm irritated just like you are. That I gotta
We'll
be on this
mess around
flight.
and find out. We'll mess around and
Yeah,
find
yeah.
out.
So now this conflict happens, and it escalates because everybody's getting excited, right? And their question is, let's kick him off. Now, the good thing I like about Pacman in this whole situation, he got off the plane without, he didn't.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
may have been
He
yelling and
went
screaming,
ahead
but he
and
walked off the
decided that,
plane.
I'm
Yeah,
not
he
going to
walked
stay
off the
here and act the
plane.
fools. Yeah.
He took his due diligence, right? He got arrested. He posted his bail. He did exactly what he was supposed to do and get out and now be upset and have it. But I do believe in this case, I would hope he consults with his lawyer and figure out, hey, man, do I have the right to sue these people?
I
Because
think
they
he
didn't
will.
even
I
know.
think he will. And Walter is saying, don't most planes have marshals? Depending on what size. That's why I was saying I'm going to see if this was a private charter or United or something. The last statement that Adam made as he was leaving the jail, it says, "quote I'm hurt. This is embarrassing." So,
Yes.
he's not going to let this slide. He's going to get some type of dust is due, some type of due process. Either the conversation about, hey, apologize, or you gonna compensate me for my trip, for my time. You gonna buy me this new iPhone. you
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
take care of
I
me
think
some kind
this.
of how, some kind of way.
Yeah, there's something that has to be done to
Yeah,
compensate
they're
him
gonna
in
take
the
care of
wrong way. And this is crazy. This happens to a person that I believe is a millionaire. Can you imagine happening to a common person? A person that's forked their money out.
it. Yep.
Hey, I want to be comfortable. I got some things to do. I'm on a plane, so I don't want nobody next to me. I pay for these seats, and now all of a sudden, I'm in this altercation with this steward or stewardess about what I can and cannot do when I know I'm in the right. So even if I explain myself, they keep it. You telling me no, I'm wrong. Hold on, I paid for these seats. No, you didn't. You need to put that away. You need to do this. You do that.
Like,
Hold
oh
on. I mean,
Lord,
what you talking about?
here we go. That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like now I'm in this argument. I'm in a no-win situation, right? I'm a common person. I would be in a no-win situation. If I argue, I'm getting kicked off. I miss my flight. I miss my money. I miss my appointments. I miss everything I got to do. I don't really have a recourse to bounce back. Maybe I can sue, right? I can bring
Mm-hmm.
my noise to the media, but it doesn't garner any attention. Pac-Man Jones is going to garner some attention
He
to the
gonna garner some
situation
attention.
and
Low key,
figure it
no
out.
sleep
So
talking about him. This gonna garner some attention. I'm gonna chop this one up too, and just watch. In a couple of hours, we gonna be
yeah,
all over the bar stool and wherever else. No. Um, all right, man. We beat that one down for sure, and we'll find out what happens. Hopefully, we get some answers about that. Let's step into. We're gonna go up and down, some little hills and valleys, right? Because we got a
okay,
couple more stories here that some are pretty nice. One is kind of sad, but we gonna break up the monotony right now. Um, First of all, where is it, Walter? Use that promo code down there below, TNS10, for the merch. You don't have to pay full price. Use promo code. Okay, there we go. Good news. This man right here, right here, Deion Sanders. We talked about it, and I had a couple of cats call me actually after our last time we talked about it. Said we did a really. I didn't tell you this yet. Kind of gave us our flowers and said we did a good job of actually talking about the story of this quote unquote Deion effect. Deion came into, y'all know, Colorado Buffaloes. Who? Colorado Buffaloes. Who are they? Well, I bet you know who they are right now. They came in ranked nothing. Then they came in ranked 30
22.
something. Then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were ranked
30. You're right.
22.
Mhm.
Now they're ranked 18. Now they're the 18th highest ranked in the conference because they have won twice as many games already than they won in decades, and they've only played 2 games. They won both of those games. TCU and Nebraska got. I'm gonna say they got embarrassed because I think TCU coming in, making it to the national championship game last year. Obviously, they didn't win because Georgia won, but making it to there, they kind of came in with high, wide chest and big shoulders, thinking, I mean, the point spread I think was like 20 points. TCU was supposed to win. They didn't win, and that was a real bad flight home to that night.
No, they stayed home. They were at home. They
Well,
were at
that's
home.
right. But again, when they went home that night, I mean, it was real quiet around the dinner table.
Mhm.
Then these dudes from Nebraska. Oh my God. Coach Rule bringing the squad out there, having a little meeting on the Buffalo in the center of the field. You don't do that. It's like stepping on the logo in the locker room. There's some unwritten rules in sports that you don't do, and Coach Rule was doing some things. It was personal. Shador showed what he needed to do from the quarterback perspective. The rest of the team did what they need to do, messed around and won that game. Now, gonna be an interstate game coming up this Saturday. Colorado against Colorado State. It don't matter who else shows up, but who is showing up is College Game Day. And listen, let me tell you something. I've been at a UCLA game when College Game Day shows up. This is bigger than it's bigger than Super Bowl. This is grown folks stuff right here. This is real. This is nothing to bat an eye at, man. You got College Game Day coming to Boulder, Colorado for Colorado and Colorado State. Why? Because Deion Sanders said they were coming, but they're here. Talk about this whole tsunami of things that's going on, man, and how the good of this. And do you find or do you see anything that's probably not so good about all of this attention that's being garnered on the Buffaloes and coach as well?
Nah, I don't see anything negative about it. I mean, this is what he was paid to do. This is what he was paid to come in there and do. Bring that attention, bring a winning program there, let the world know about Colorado's back and eventually want to fight for a national championship.
Yeah.
I think what Deion has done in a short, we didn't expect it to happen this fast.
True.
We always thought he was going to turn the program around. He was going to win eventually. It wasn't going to be a cellar dweller at all. He made it happen immediately. That's what everybody is in awe about. And I think the Deion effect is true. And I think what he's done is the most positive thing because everybody's going to be looking for the next Deion as far as a head coaching job. Everyone's going to look for a coach that can have the impact like he's had. Unfortunately, right now, there's only one. But I think there's going to be a lot of coaches and a lot of people that's going to emulate this Deion coaching style and philosophy into their programs in order to get things going. Will they be successful? That's to be determined. But he has changed the landscape of college football. I keep telling everyone that. This dude's changing. It's done. It's there now. He has changed the landscape, the way college football is going to be recruited, the way it's going to be played, the way they're going to hire coaches, the kind of coaches they're going to look for. He's changed that whole entire landscape the way it is. The traditional older coach, guy that's been here before, that's been around that we want to hire that has that. They want somebody young, exciting in front of the camera, going to bring a whole lot of different things to the makeup of that school.
Yeah.
I've already said, everyone was messing around when they were talking about, oh, they paying Deion too much money. That $30 million they're giving him or some of it is too much.
School didn't even have the money. The school didn't even have the money.
The AD got a lot of slack for that. Remember that AD was catching a lot for that. And Deion, I'm telling you, in this 1 year is going to generate $100 million plus for that program. Tell me one man that has came into any program that has changed the dynamics of it and has grossed over $100 million in 1 year. Hasn't been one. Nick Saban hasn't did that. Nope. The great Nick Saban hasn't even did that. So the fact that he's been able to do that, there's so many domino effects to what's going on with Deion. Enrollment has increased. Fan base obviously increased. They've been on TV, primetime TV, basically for 3 weeks in a row.
Straight.
You're talking about a team that was 1-10 last year that is now on primetime TV 3 weeks in a row.
Come on.
And now, not only on that, they got College Game Day coming to watch them. Basically, on another team that's not even in the Colorado State is nowhere even in the picture of being ranked in college football. Not to knock them. I like Colorado State a lot. I think they have a lot of good things, but they're not on Colorado's level.
No.
Normally, no one would be going to that game. That would be an ESPN2 game at best.
If that, right? It would be. That's true.
At best. It would be there and it'd be a late night game and people watch it. He's getting prime time effect on ESPN.
I see what you did
with
there.
College Game Day there for everyone to watch. So you got to tell me who has done that. I mean, they got standing room only at the University of Colorado for home games. They can't sell enough tickets for there. This dude, this guy, I don't know what the aura is about Dion. I'm a fan of his. I don't know what the aura is about him and what he brings, but obviously whatever it is bringing a lot of positivity and a lot of good to college football.
Well,
It's bringing a
that's
lot
it
of
right there, right? Because
yeah.
I heard the conversation, I heard it mentioned. I mean, even believe that Coach said it himself. He's not an X's and O's type of dude, right? He's got his OC and his DC. They do
Hmm.
that. His offensive and defensive coordinator. They do that.
Yes.
He's the motivation. He's the positive thinking. He's the you are great. That we deserve this. This is ours. Go out there and get it because we own. He's that guy. Right.
Hmm.
He's the one that's going in and talking to these young kids and putting his arms around them saying, I love you. You deserve this. Let's go out there and get this win. Let's go out there and get this NIL. Right. He's embracing all that. Right. All
Yeah.
the prime time, all the show. That's him. He built the entire squad, as you know, around him and all of the coaches. He got some top-notch folks that are sitting in there drawing up the X's and O's. Of course,
Yep.
Dion has the veto power on whatever, depending on what's going on, but he lets them do his job. And then that whole team is Brad, one
Well,
or two people that were there last year. But
I feel like he's an entrusting manager, right? He
yeah,
trusts the people around him to do what they're going to do, and it's been very, very, it's been very, it's paid off very well for him. Not to mention, though, Dion is a marketable character.
oh
Primetime
yeah,
is a
oh yeah,
marketable character. I don't think that's Deion Sanders, but Primetime is a marketable character, and
that's a
it
good point.
brings
Mm-hmm.
it brings a lot to the university, and it brings a lot to what's going on as far as the team is concerned, and it attracts a lot of student athletes. Not just football either. People just think it's just football. He's attracting a lot of student athletes that play in other sports that want to be a part of what's going on. Um, his resume just speaks so much volumes, right? He did it in high school. He changed a private school to a powerhouse. He
Mm-hmm.
goes to Jackson State. He changed Jackson State to a HBCU that really had nothing going on to almost doubling in its enrollment and making a great football team there. He gets the opportunity to come to Colorado, and right now he's got the Da Vinci Code. Hey, I already know what I want to do. I'm
Man,
gonna
let's
go in
do
here
it.
and do it. And I believe probably part of this contract was like, let me do what I do and watch the results. And that AD believed in him and said, okay, I'm gonna let you do what you do. Here's the money you need. Go out there and do it. He got criticism for cutting half the team publicly in front of everybody. Like, hey, you guys ain't gonna be here. You're not the type of player I want. That's not the player I want. I think I can win with. I want you. I'm gonna sign all you guys release. Get in the transfer portal so you guys can land someone else. Then he comes in and he brings in 84 transfers.
Yep.
84, basically a whole new squad. You know, minus maybe 16. I think 16 people laid over, but he brought in a whole entire new squad. Everyone said you couldn't put it together fast enough. There's no way you're gonna be able to put these guys that never played against each other. All these transfers. There's no way it's gonna work. He dispelled that theory. It's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work, and it's working. So now he's at a point where now just 3-0, man. Look at what's going on 3-0. Dion is more of a top story than Nick Saban losing to Texas.
Yes. Right. And
Can
that's
you? I
and that's
mean,
crazy talk right there. That
where
don't even
are
sound
we
right
even
coming
at
out
in
your
that?
mouth.
Dion is a hotter story, a hotter topic than Nick Saban losing to Texas. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about the guy that's won out of the last 10 championships. He's won like 5 of them at least. Arguably the greatest coach ever in college football.
Yep.
He just lost to a team he wasn't supposed to be. That's back news to Dion winning against Nebraska, who was unranked, and going into Colorado, who also
My
was
goodness.
unranked.
We talking about Colorado State and Colorado Buffaloes instead of talking
Yes,
about Alabama. Instead of talking about the
Alabama.
Crimson Tide.
Think about it though.
Everybody is talking about Colorado Buffaloes.
His story is above Dabo Swinney and Clemson losing.
Dude, and that one touched me as well because I'm a Dabo
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I'm a
So,
Clemson
so
fan. Yeah.
I mean, the Dion effect, the so-called Dion effect, or the Dion tsunami, as you put it, it's here, and I hate to say it. Well, I don't say I hate to say it. I'm saying it. It's not going nowhere.
No.
Man, he's the hottest ticket, and every top recruit just about in the nation wants to play for him. They want to play for him. They want to play for what they're doing. And if you're a receiver, obviously you definitely want to go there. But the hottest recruits want to go play for him. So now Dion not only came in, changed the program. I'm the hottest ticket in college football.
Yeah.
Everybody, it doesn't go through Alabama anymore. It's right now, as of
It
week
goes
3,
through the
it's going
mountains in
through me.
Colorado. It goes through altitude. And right,
Yeah,
he's bringing they winning. They got a good program, but he's bringing fun into it too, right? I mean, you saw at the last game they got a turnover thrown, right? So
Well,
they catch an interception and force a turnover
yeah,
on the defense or something. They got a thrown out there, literal thrown out there
yeah.
on the field. You
Well,
see
I
all
think
these
also, I
stars
think
out there.
and that's what I was going to say. He's
Mm,
also bringing a star factor there. It's almost like USC in Boulder, right?
oof.
USC used to have all the movie stars
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Reggie Bush and them were playing. We're all on the sideline and Caravan. If you looked at the Colorado game, you had Stephen A. Smith, Michael Irvin, and all these other players all standing only on the sideline. Matter of fact, they weren't even on the sideline. They were in that little part of the field where you kind of walk in and walk out. They were all standing there
yep,
corralling, watching what's going on, and having comments. And it's crazy when the sideline reporter from the game is going over there and interviewing them and having a conversation because there's so many stars on the field. And that's kind of the Deion effect. He's brought this whole I want to say movement because he had it in Jackson State. They were doing it, but
true.
in a smaller scale at Jackson State. But now he has this whole movement in Colorado where he's calling his friends and family and his friends, "Hey, come out, come watch the game. I want you to come do motivational speaks." He has a really big connection with hip hop artists because he knows his players connect with that. So they come out and talk to the players and perform for the players
Mm-hmm.
and give them all this information. And the bottom line, his message is like, I'm teaching these young men how to be pros. I'm teaching them they need to dress and wear ties on game day.
Yep.
They need to cut their hair a certain way. They need to be clean cut. They need to take speech classes to be well spoken when they talk to the camera. He's doing all these things behind the scenes to create this great program that no one else is doing. That they don't want to talk about that. Obviously, they want to talk about the wins and losses. But on the back end, he's doing all these great things to make these young men become young professionals. And he says that all the time. I'm making them become young professionals in this world. You can't get an NIL with a scruffy beard and long dreads that are not trimmed up and looking all crazy when you
Speak
come in
on
the room.
that. Shador would not be the $4 million man already, flossing his watches and his what he got? What car he
His
got?
car, he got a new car. I think he just
God,
got a new car or
I
something
saw it.
like
I
that.
said, man, let me get a
Yeah.
ride. But right, you couldn't be that if you were out there looking terrible.
And he doesn't allow it of any of his players. That's the
Yeah,
crazy part.
yeah,
None of y'all can come. You're not gonna be wearing flip flops when you come to your meetings, when you do your press meeting. You're not gonna be doing. You gotta be in Colorado attire or you gotta be in a suit and tie.
yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But he's like, I'm teaching these young men to be professionals and be in a situation where they can conduct themselves in front of board meetings as well as front of football players. So I'm an advocate of what he's doing, man. I think he's changed the game like no other. Now, the only thing that I want him to do is definitely, show them how to manage their NIL money. That's the
Yeah,
one. I don't know if
yeah,
he's doing it, and he may be already doing that. I don't know, but I'm saying that's the one thing I would hope he speaks about. He talks about how these young people are going to manage their NIL money because obviously we know sometimes it's going to be once in a lifetime shot. You're going to get this money. You're not going to get that no more.
true.
Everybody in that team is not going to the NFL. They're not.
Yeah,
That's the reality of it. But they're all going to get a chunk of some money. And I think the way he's working out, everybody's going to get a piece of this pie as long as they're part of the party. As long as they're part of the team, it's going to be somehow they're going to divvy it up. Others are going to get more than others, but everybody's going to get some money. I just hope he teaches them how to manage that money and he puts something in place where, hey, I'm going to show you how to manage that money where it's going to last you a little bit. And that way, when you graduate, you have a little something when you leave here. That's the next step, I think, in this evolution of this Deion effect. Um, I applaud him, man.
yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, let's let the man shine, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I just give him the flowers. Let the man shine. Right now, it's all positive, and just let him keep doing what he's doing. We're gonna be watching that
but
game
the
as
crazy one,
well.
the crazy before we jump off Deion,
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get past Colorado State with no problem. But that Oregon versus Colorado game
that's gonna be
is gonna be
tough.
something.
That's gonna be
You
yeah,
go,
yeah.
you talk
That's
about ratings. I mean, you talk about ratings. That game is gonna be.
well. So the Oregon, yeah, against them Ducks, that's true. I mean, we got to give them their props. They're a good team as well. But see Caleb, when they go see Caleb Williams at USC, appreciate you,
Yeah,
Shirley, for saying you're gonna rock your hat. That's gonna be
that's
hot.
gonna be one too. But I'm saying the momentum going in there. If you beat Oregon, if they beat Oregon,
Oh my goodness,
going into that game when they play USC in Utah,
my
it's gonna be
goodness.
it's gonna be crazy. Now, if he loses it, he's still gonna have a lot of that effect going in because it's gonna be like
Yeah,
I got to bounce back. I played against
yeah,
a really good team. But I'm telling you right now, that Oregon game probably gonna be the most pivotal game kind of the year because Deion, I think they're gonna win 7 or 8. I think they're going to a bowl. I think at least the way they're playing right now, they're gonna get to a bowl. But if he beats Oregon, Under
Yeah.
that environment, that's gonna be prime. That's Notre Dame time money. They're gonna be on prime time
Come on
national
now.
TV in front of ABC, in front of the world. There, and it's gonna be hype central. Everybody's gonna talk about Oregon and that coach and that Knicks kid, and they're gonna talk about Sanders kid at quarterback, and the hoopla is gonna build up from there to see who's winning. So I'm telling people, I'm warning our fans right now. That's the game that's gonna be above all
Well,
games.
that's
They get
going to be the
that
one,
Colorado
but
State, that Oregon game is gonna be something.
okay. So you're talking, that's going to be a game, and that's going to be
Yes,
important. But I got to go ahead and interject because on November the 4th, Colorado's playing OSU, playing my Beavers. Now
yeah,
it's
we ain't
not
worried
going
about
to
that
be.
yet.
Don't
I
rain
don't
on
sleep
my
on the Beavers. They got some ballers.
don't rain on my
Beavers is
parade.
tough
I'm
to see.
just let me put this out here in the atmosphere. Look, we we going to Colorado. It's not a home game for us, but we gonna go up against them Buffaloes.
Yes, yes.
Don't let my Oregon State Beavers give Deion
In
Sanders
Colorado.
a win.
Well, you know what's crazy though?
Or
It's gonna
don't
be
let us win
interesting.
again. Good Lord, don't let us put that L in the Colorado Buffaloes corner.
I'm gonna
It's
be
gonna be
honest with
tough.
you,
It's
man.
gonna be tough. But
I mean, typically the
I'm
Pac-12
looking for
always get a
tickets
bad
prices
rap,
right
right?
now. I'm trying to get tickets.
Yeah. The Pac-12 has always been kind of now the fifth of the Power Five, right? They've
Yeah,
been the kind of on the weak
yeah,
link. This year, it's not like that no more. It's not. USC is
true.
tough.
Yeah,
Oregon's tough.
yeah. Ooh, USC is tough. Yeah,
Colorado right now is looking like they're tough. Both the Arizona teams have been playing good. Oregon State is looking good. And let's be honest with you, that Cal game against Auburn, one ball goes one way. Cal wins that game.
that's true.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not even. So to be honest with you, the Pac-12 is going to be very, very competitive this year. Um, I'm interested to see
imagine
how
that.
Colorado falls out of that. But I like Colorado because they played against TCU. They play really, really good
Yeah,
ball. And Oregon's a high scoring team too. That's going to be a pivotal game. If they can figure out a way to get over that one, you got to think if they beat the number 18 team, and then I think Oregon's ranked number 12.
something like
Man,
that.
if
Yeah.
Colorado beat two ranked
Oh
teams
gosh,
within a 4-week span, man,
I told you I'm buying
Dion,
everybody black and gold or gold and black, whatever. However
yeah,
they put the. Yeah, I'm buying everybody Buffalo's gear just to do it, just to be like, yeah,
yeah,
give this man his props. We'll
yeah.
see.
So love the Dion effect, man. He got
We'll
it.
see what
So
happens. All right, last story, man. Again, like I told you, we were going some hills and valleys, so that was all good stuff. That was all good news. But then we already hinted and talked about it a little bit. Monday Night Football.
yes,
Mm, mm, mm. We had them Buffalo Bills, and we had the New York Jets. MetLife sold out. Great place to go watch a game. I've never physically been there to watch a game, but it was the hello to Aaron Rodgers, QB1 for the New York Jets. He came out on the field. Look, come on. September 11th, he got the flag. There's Queen Latifah singing the national anthem. Queen Latifah, go ahead, girl. She did her thing too. 4 plays later, 5 minutes into the game, Aaron Rodgers is down, and come to find out, he tore his Achilles, out for the entire season. Because you don't come back from that for about 6-8 months. Right? That's a tough one. And they came back and won the game. Quarterback was who the quarterback was. We've talked about that quarterback, the stand-in quarterback, and he's okay. Yeah, but he's got some tutelage from Aaron Rodgers, which is good, and they were able to pull out the game. Shouts out to that massive run back from the young dude who had just made the team not too long ago. But man, that's heartbreaking, man. Right? And then coming from him, he's saying, "The night is darkest before the dawn, and I shall rise again." I don't think he's rising again. I think that 5 minutes was it. I think that was it. How
I
do you
agree
feel?
with you. I agree with that. I think that coming back at this stage from a torn Achilles is
Yeah.
rough. It's super rough. I mean, and I know he's never had an injury like this, and I know he's determined to get back because he doesn't want it to end that way. But unfortunately, none of us can outrun Father Time.
Mm, mm,
That's just the
mm.
honest God's truth. And you know, he has an injury that's going to take him, like you said, at least 6 to 8 months just so he can start to get back in the rhythm and get back on the field and try to do it. I mean, I've heard some people's Achilles heal a little bit faster, but regardless of the fact of the matter, this is a career-ending type of injury. You know, it does it. It ends more people's career than people come back from it. Put it that way in every sport. So for him at this age to come back, I don't know what kind of will he has, right, to do that. Aaron Rodgers already made the bag. He's made more enough money than he can count. You know, he's made enough money in his career. He doesn't need it. I think he was doing that just to come from a competitive standpoint and show everybody he could do it without Green Bay. Okay, I get hurt. Do I really want to come back? I don't know. You know, we're talking about now because the emotions are high. Let's talk about when you're 4.5 months into rehab or you're 5 months into rehab and things aren't working the way you want it to work. When those tough situations get tough and if you can come back. I would love to see. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks to play in the game. I just don't know if his body's going to be able to respond the way he wants to. Is he going to be able to come back the way that he feels that he wants to? And again, is he going to come back top notch? Right? You're going to have a little bit of hesitation. I don't care what injury comes from. You have a little bit of hesitation on you. I think in this one, this is your ankle, right? You have to move with it. You have to step up with it. You have to have enough confidence that it's ready to go. And then if it get hit, it's not going to give out again.
I know all his magic is in the flick of that wrist and the sidearm and all that, but he's still pretty mobile at 39. But now I have to wait till he's 40 to come back. Even father, even old man Brady said, I can't do it like I used to anymore. Well, Brady can never run anyway, but
but I mean at this point, like I said, the difference between him and Brady never really had a major injury like this. Maybe some injuries that dinged him here and there. He held him out a couple of games. I think he had one injury, but that was way back when he was younger. If he was young, I would say Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. If he was in his 20s, he's coming back, no doubt. If he was in early 30s, okay, he's probably still going to come back. He probably wants to play 35. Aaron Rodgers is 38 and about to be 40. And I just think the body's not going to respond the way he envisioned it's going to respond to this type of surgery because we all want to, make it happen fast, get ready. Let's get back to this, get working out and start strengthening and let's go. But at 40, your body doesn't react the same way when it was 20, right? It just does. It just doesn't.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So I think Father Time, unfortunately, has caught up to him. And I think he's, at some point, him and his agent and his family are going to come to a conclusion like, what do we really want to do? Because he's a first-time ballot Hall of Famer. That's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
He has nothing to prove to anyone. Yeah, he has nothing to prove to anyone. Everybody knows he's going to be great.
He already got a jacket. They didn't already got his measurements. They know what size he wears. Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to be great with the Jets. I think if he would have had the opportunity to play, but for some reason it didn't manifest that way. So I believe, hey man, you just got to sit down and talk with your family and say, do I really want to do this, or do I want to get the surgery and just be like, you know what, I'm cool. I'm done with football. Let me move on to the next chapter of my life.
Yeah,
whether it be coaching or commentating or whatnot. So
something like he'll be commentating because he a little funny dude too, right? He got a good sense of humor. Because I've been watching Hard Knocks, and that's why I'm taking it to heart a little bit too, because I watched the whole progression of him showing up to camp and to the facilities in New York, embracing him and the whole Hard Knocks thing, and like, oh man, 4 plays in.
And he's a great leader. I ain't gonna say he was. He is a great leader. I hope we see him on the sideline a lot. I really do. I hope we see him on the sideline a lot. I hope we see him coaching Zach Wilson up on the sideline, telling him what to look for. I hope he becomes that type of mentor to Zach Wilson. I know it's hard right now because you want to play, right? You want to play. You're so frustrated and everything. But I hope somewhere he kind of gets that bug and say, let me make sure I'm there for this young man to coach him along and groom him along. I may not be able to show him physically what to do, but let me be in his ear and let me tell him, hey, you need to look for this. You need to do this. Make sure you step to the left when you're throwing that. Just give him the insights, what he needs to do to be successful and contribute to the team somewhat, as much as you can. Contribute to the team as best as you can. And I think of him being a big mentor to Zach Wilson on the sideline, being there on the road games, telling them what to expect. Hey, watch when this guy is blitzing. Check that guy when he, just give him the insights what he needs to look for. Yeah. Hey, he's open, man. Throw the ball quicker. As soon as you get out your release, just throw it. Let him go make. If he gives him that type of insight, I think if he plays that role within the Jets, I think the Jets are going to have a tremendous system because I believe he has invaluable insight to what's going on, especially as a quarterback. And what way better to mentor somebody that wants to listen to him. And let's be honest with you, some plays Zach looked a lot like him, making a release, throwing the ball up there, letting the
True.
receiver make.
Yeah,
So
I
he
saw
did some
Zach
things.
doing some imitation. So
Yeah, he
okay.
did some things.
So
So yeah, go ahead.
so
Sorry.
let me ask you this: they playing them. We talked about them too. They're playing them Cowboys next. Who you got?
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys didn't look too bad. Cowboys didn't look too bad last week.
I think the situation right now is a little bit too big for Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Now the Jets defense is ready. I don't care that defense is on power.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question is, can Dak do something against that defense more so than we? Zach Wilson only has to do a little bit to manage the game, right? Run the ball, go play action pass. Give us 2 touchdowns. That's all we ask. Give us
Just
2
give
touchdowns.
us 2. Give us 14. Just give us a
Yeah,
couple.
if you can give us 2 touchdowns between you and special teams, can give us 2 touchdowns. I'm saying the Jets got a chance. Not saying they're gonna win it, but I think they got a chance. If they can get them 2 scores that amount to 14 points and above, Jets got a chance because I don't know what Zach gonna do against that defense. That defense for the Jets is on point. I mean, they blitz the quarterback.
That's true.
They cover very well. They got good linebackers. They stop the run. So to me, I'm taking Dallas, and I'll be on record. I'm taking Dallas only because I think it's so early in the season. You asked me this week 4, week 5, and Zach Wilson's comfortable with the offense and everything's going, maybe a whole entirely different story. But right now, I just think it's too early because they got to change their whole playbook and their play calling scheme to fit Zach. Yeah, to fit Zach's thing in order for him to be successful. So that's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different, and I don't know how much success he's going to have. Now, like I said, if they can manifest somehow 2 scores or a couple of like 3 field goals and a touchdown or enough scores where they can get 14 points and above, watch out. The Jets might win that game.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Montel Allen is over here. Put your money where his mouth is. But if you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-NO-GAMBLING. Whatever. Let's don't put too much down.
Yeah.
But put a little
Yeah,
something.
don't put no money down on my. Have draw to
little parlay.
down.
Do what you got to do. Brother, we ran a little over today, but listen, it was a good show because we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Absolutely.
Of stuff to talk about, man. You got them Cowboys. I don't even want to talk about my Steelers right now because
they're gonna be all right. Steelers gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right, man. They just ran into a juggernaut right now. They ran into a buzzsaw. So
yeah, them Niners are tough. So them Shanahan got his. Okay, I'm not going to get
if this
into
makes
it.
You feel any better,
I don't want to get mad.
If this makes you feel any better, nobody in the NFL was gonna beat the 49ers that this past week. I think there's no team that could have beat them. So, I mean, it's them and it's the rest of them as of right now.
That's true.
The law averages plays itself out as the season goes along. But I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers should feel bad for losing that game because I don't think no one in the NFL played as good as the 49ers did week 1.
That's true. And it wouldn't. Yeah, okay, we talk about it a little bit later too because McCaffrey didn't have as great of a game, but you know what? That's true. It was decent. All right, brother. Take us home. We did it. Yes. We did what we needed to do again.
Yeah. Please, everybody, reach out there and find your loved ones, man. Get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations so we can learn from each other. And God bless everybody out there.
What he said. Let's go.